One sec. So YouTube. Let me see. Okay. Cool. I see YouTube. I see this thing right here as well. I can hear myself, which is good. Okay. Yeah, well, I think I can hear you fine, so I guess. Uh, in in call. 1 second, sir. I'm just moving the windows here. This and that. Okay. I no. Yeah, I think I cannot hear you on the stream.
How about now? Yeah, it should
Um,
work. It should work. We could. Yeah, it will work. Let's share the links quickly. I played around
okay,
with the settings.
let us know if you can hear both of us. I think you should be supposed to. Hello and welcome to
Yep.
the next stream. 1 sec, sorry, let me share it on Twitter as well.
Yeah, let's do that and let's get started.
And okay, so let me share these things. Let me share these things here in the chat as well. Okay, so hi everyone, welcome to the next stream. As always, the streams are sponsored by BONKbot. Make sure to check them out. I just posted the links in the chat. Make sure to check out their telemetry app if you are into on-chain trading stuff as well. So, I can't remember last time when we spoke, to be quite fair. There's echo, someone mentioned. Uh, echo,
It could be me, assumably.
I can change to this microphone on Mac. It might be better. I have like, uh, echo.
How about now? Oh, the usuals. The usual.
There is never a good setting on the stream. So, I'm just going to continue. Hopefully, it's going to improve. Um, So, yeah, like I said, I don't exactly remember the last time we were streaming, so I'm not sure what the price was. But Bitcoin haven't done much in general in these last, I would say, 2 weeks. Um, I last time we spoke, I mentioned I was long Sol ETH, that trade. Wasn't kind of I fucked up a little bit because I got squeezed on the Sol side. I wasn't really expecting like Sol rallied quite a bit as well, so wasn't that amazing of a trade. For Bitcoin, I'm pretty surprised that we had the situation, the Galaxy selling on the last Friday. Uh, we are pretty weak, all things considered. I got some longs over the weekend. I was kind of expecting that this thing is just going to rally to new highs after all of that selling got absorbed. But it seems not to be the case, at least at the moment. Like I said, I think I ended up buying like 116. Um, last Friday, but closed most of it already in this 118 area, and now it's kind of weak. Um, Not doing that much BTC, it's just been kind of like hovering around. For ETH and Sol, I have been posting some things. I'm being a little bit more bearish. Personally, Sol, I think we spoke about this last stream as well. I know that you mentioned that Sol, is going to have this narrative and ETFs and everything, but
Oh,
it's
you read
still
my
quite.
Telegram?
Yeah. I
Damn.
checked. So, but that's still quite far off, and Solana was kind of outperformer. We made these highs basically last week, and although like I said, I was short Sol, long ETH basically throughout this whole time. Um, Basically, open interest made new highs in Sol, which prior highs were in January at around 300. So a little bit of a divergence is there, and then Sol continues to kind of sell off or continue to sell from there. ETH as well, and you might have some more information to this because I remember you mentioning that it's Justin's sell wall or whatever. But yeah, there has this kind of a huge sell wall. I think it's on Binance, basically at 4K or around 4K on the ETH. In general, these things make it pretty hard for coins to just go up, and this can be obviously like you can pull all these orders and whatever, but yeah, as long as it's there, it's kind of a pain in the ass for it to be there because price just cannot simply go up uh, that much. So yeah, I have been mostly out of the any kind of positions. Like I said, I was long Bitcoin over the weekend, but uh, I it seems to be less strong than I was expecting to, especially after those Galaxy news. So I'm kind of staying out at the moment. Pretty much just waiting. What's going to be next. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Bitcoin's done fuck all. I think past few weeks have just been all ETH and altcoins. I traded a bunch. Uh, Biggest, I guess, narrative of past few weeks has been the Galaxy coin. Sorry, the Galaxy guy. Sorry, the fucking ancient whale sending coins to Galaxy and they executing on their behalf, which was hilarious because it got to the point where Galaxy also like tweeted, right? It was like a public announcement that we're done.
Yeah.
But the open interest since then, I think we can talk about it in a little bit, but it was pretty much it was fun. Open interest going up like 12% in 8 hours.
Is that still? Was it all kind of covered or?
Around half of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of just expecting, like, first of all, obviously being like this much selling pressure coming in and market barely moved, or like it moved, but it wasn't anything insane. Uh, and I was basically just expecting this kind of covering of the OIs basically shoot up the price,
Yep.
at least back above 120 or whatever, and like it was like when I was buying, basically like Friday afternoon, I was kind of expecting this to be fast. Like this is one of those moves when you kind of just like I don't feel like there is like a reason for this to sit in this for like a days. Um, so yeah, definitely, I'm definitely quite surprised that, or not quite surprised. It was like, like it doesn't have to, all of our dreams and wishes when it comes to price moving up or down doesn't have to come through. But it felt pretty clean to me that this might be the case. But it seems prices struggling quite a bit since the week open, and as I think S&P today is also selling down a little bit.
It's been Bitcoin's just been very boring. On the, when you went long, I covered covering my shorts. I closed mine at
Yeah.
115.3, which I'm pretty happy with. And I closed my Solana shorts too. I actually traded a bunch last week. It's been a pretty fun week. But it's still, as you say, it's a fucking boring range. Like, you know, I'm in some group chats and people just like basically celebrating 5% moves to either direction on altcoins, which is just leveraged Bitcoin or Bitcoin beta. And I'm wondering, I look outside, you know, it's middle of the summer. Like, what do I do with my
Yeah,
like with my life?
there has been not that many like crazy moves in altcoins. I know like Ripple ran quite a bit in these last weeks, but it hasn't been anything crazy. Like usually what you get like when ETH is running, like ETH is up 70% from in the last month, I guess around that number. So like you would expect probably some more coins doing more crazy things, but it seems like I don't know, I'm either completely out of touch at this point, or that it wasn't that alt season ish, um, or like following that kind of a Bitcoin rally, ETH rally, altcoin rally type of situation. It seems to be just like uh, BTC and ETH, and I think it comes back to that boring, thesis or like a situation which we talked about basically is that like the only reason these things seem to be going up at this point is because all of this ETF institutional interest, which obviously um, transferred into ETH and it made ETH rally quite a bit. So so yeah, I guess that there wasn't that much of super interesting in the kind of altcoins, at least from what I saw.
Well, I think it's very actually as boring as it is. It makes I think life a lot easier. It is that boring narrative I have or thesis for Sol. It's basically does your coin have ETF? Yes or no? If the answer is no, do a backflip. And I mean, it's been trading as such, right? So since one of our favorite kind of hate past 2 years we've had, not hates or like argument, was ETH BTC and Bitcoin and others BTC. But somebody showed me a better chart now, and I cannot stop looking, and that's others compared to ETH, which effectively shows altcoins against ETH, but maybe even better like representation of your actual what we would call like alt season. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean you're dead on, and I look, we've been repeating this past every day, every stream, but it's just true. Ethereum has had pretty much 90% of its all inflows in like last month. Then on top of it, you have the treasury companies that I'll do the little celebration Victoria Lab pat on the back situation because I was pretty damn early talking about them for ETH with SBAT and then Tom Lee. Between these two
Mm-hmm.
companies, if you don't believe me, you can just go to their Twitter and go talk to Grok. As much as weird of a thing it is, but Grok is pretty decent of doing the research for you. Just ask it how much did Joe Lubin, SBAT, and Tom Lee, Bitminaire, whatever is the name, bought. So man, if you let me just TLDR get to the point. If you look at how much SBAT, Tom Lee, and ETFs bought in last just 3 weeks, they bought like 2.5% of all of circulating ETH. When you're like
Yeah.
circulating market cap, which even as Ethereum hater myself, I have to like it's you have to fucking be like that's insane. If you think about how much Bitcoin would move if they bought 2.5% of market cap, and I
Yeah.
mean no shit, it's trading as such, right? It's very obvious. A lot of people
Yeah.
buying, nobody's buying altcoins. TLDR.
Yeah. And this is tough, and I should think about like I saw people like one of the biggest kind of a reasons for why this is going to so much higher still is like funding rates and all of these things, right? And I think crypto is like a very tough market in the sense that like it's so many things are changing
Mm-hmm.
since the ETFs launched, and so many of these like strategies and stuff like that. It's just like uh so I'm not saying that like even like if you like 2 years ago or like yeah like 2 years ago if I would see on Bitcoin like 12% open interest going up, was something that we saw on Friday, and I could just, like that would be like 11 out of 10 long, basically, or like counter position, and I, like this thing would just shoot up and liquidate everyone basically, and like it would have such a different effect compared to what we saw today, which, once again, basically nothing is happening, price is just going down. It seems like these derivatives positions now are not that are getting basically less and less important than they were back in back in the um, back in a couple of years ago. And I think there is still importance, but mostly on like a really bigger time frames when you have these like a billion days liquidations, which are getting more and more rare basically,
Mm-hmm.
as we kind of move on as well. So like a lot of this like intraday edge, which I remember that like we used to do a lot back in
Three
a
years ago.
couple, yeah, when you like look at open interest, look at liquidations and CVD and all these kind of things. And like I think now on an intraday basis, like how well this is going to compare when like someone is like open interest is going up, and I look at Twitter and people are like, oh, this is going to go down, like these people are buying, yeah, but at the same time you have like someone buying billions in ETFs basically, so obviously price is going to go up. Yeah, it's I think it's a very different market basically.
I think it's interesting, right? Because you had every single person on crypto Twitter being bullish ETH since like last 3 years, and Ethereum has basically done nothing. And all it took was, I say it like it's not a big deal, but all it took was Larry Fink and two institutions to actually start buying size, and it shows, right? Like if you look at ETHUSD chart, all the stuff started happening, with the inflows in like April of this year,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just
for
nothing
sure.
happened before. And TLDR, TradFi has money, and crypto Twitter is just broke holding fartcoin or whatever. And like it, I do agree with you. I do feel like order flow is kind of, I don't want to say irrelevant, but it's definitely not what it used to be. I think it might actually be time to kind of learn options, I think is
Yeah,
something you
yeah,
said a few weeks ago.
yeah, for sure. Like it's just getting basically more and more. It's gonna be institutional market, and like I think IBIT as well is getting like a lot of volume.
Yeah, the
Uh,
options.
yeah, the option side as well. So yeah, it's going to be it's going to be kind of a um very different market, I think, going forward. And it's tough to say. Like obviously, uh, like I don't know what is now, the fair value of Bitcoin, or what is now fair value of ETH. Like these things can go so much higher. Like if you're gonna get all of this institutional interest, basically, like, like I think ETH, like this is one of those things when like back in 2021, when most of when the rally that we had was basically people getting airdrop money from government, and it was like this kind of a uh like retail driven rally basically, and people are calling ETH for 8,000 for one ETH, and it's like, yeah, sure. But like right now, like if all these like institutional guys like decide that they want to buy in, like it's way more possible, obviously, now. Which is, this is not me saying that ETH is going to 8K tomorrow, but I was just like kind of thinking that like what is basically what is going to be the kind of fair value of all of these coins when these people just continue to buy. And contrary to that, and I think I mentioned it on Twitter, is that I think that basically like top of this cycle, because like these things are not going to go up forever, obviously. Like you will have corrections, you will have bear market. I think Bitcoin and ETH, at the end of the day, they are still very high kind of beta markets, the liquidity and everything. Like I think it's not impossible for BTC to still have like 20% correction down the line or something like that. um, I think that top is basically going to come in the sense that you are just going to see all these good news, all these institutions buying whatever, a market is just not going up on those type of news, rather than once again you'll have like a funding rate blow offs and stuff we saw basically in the prior years.
Yeah, I think like the Bitcoin going sideways coincides a little bit with ETF info slowing down a lot and Sailor not buying. That's why we're going sideways, not mooning. But yeah, I mean, look, it's every week the same thing. I feel like people who, I don't know, like, how to say, I hate to use the, because that's like all the conspiracy theorists use. Are you paying attention? Like, people are noticing, but yeah, it's Wall Street market now for sure for Bitcoin and ETH, and then that is, I think, very bullish Solana. Weird for me to actually shill an altcoin, but you know, if we were to have a bit of correction, which I think even TradFi, like if you look at TradFi chart and TradFi seasonality for August, if we do have a bit of correction, at least like fucking 3%, not 0.2%, then I'll be buying Sol probably for the Q3, Q4, because if it gets Fidelity ETF, and all you need is like a good week of inflows, and fucking Solana is gonna do plus $100 in its price.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. So yeah, other than that, there was I mentioned this, Ripple rallied quite a bit. I think Ripple is going to also have an ETF coming soon, right? Yeah, so.
And there's a few coins, right? It's few coins they're getting ETF, but I also think you need like a solid institution behind it. They're just like these treasury companies. Like if you have a treasury company for a fucking, I have to be careful what I say because not everything is public yet, but like I don't know, let's say fucking, look at Mark. There's, let's say, fucking treasury company for coin called Miro. Like it's like minus 120%. It's probably not gonna do much.
Yeah.
And yeah, the issuer and the company behind it is just important. Period. But yes,
so XRP. the big kind of ETFs coming, which could get some like interest, is basically Ripple, Solana.
Well, let me quickly check. I have so there's also Litecoin. You tell me, what do you think? Is Litecoin gonna do well? I don't think so.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. But like this is like way outside of my kind of knowledge and stuff like that. But I'm just like obviously like Bitcoin ETF, kind of makes sense. Why it got so much interest and everything. It's BTC at the end of the day. Like for ETH, it took it took quite a while. Like this is not something that like ETH got ETFs and all of a sudden it's been popular and everything was great. Like I'm thinking like the
it launched in
more
May last year.
Yeah. So like the more of them you get, the smaller the effect is basically going to be. So I'm just kind of wondering that like if you have ETF, what is reason to go heavy on, like obviously like you will have these companies that can kind of favor Sol for whatever reasons, but yeah, like then you're gonna have a Litecoin, and then you're gonna have a bunch of all of these other ones. Like more the ETFs you have, basically the less bullish it is at the end of the day. So
yeah, I think it's slightly different audiences. So XRP is just gonna be the 42-year-old uncle who break even on their XRP from 2018.
Yeah, the bank coin.
Yeah, bank coin, right? Ethereum now has the stable coin. Like I think the ETF inflows and SBET and everything, the big argument there was stable coins, tokenization, and also what else? like a stablecoin ingenious act that passed past week in Congress in US.
Mm-hmm.
For XRP,
Yeah,
we mentioned it. For Solana,
yeah. I
actually,
mean, because like it's interesting. Like, I know that you mentioned that you are kind of bullish on that, but like, I'm just, maybe it's just, this is classic European thinking of the situation. But like, I feel like Sol had uh lot of the success of Sol of the last year was because of all of the stuff on chain, all of the pump fun and everything. So it was more of this like a retail driven narrative basically the last year. So I'm just kind of wondering that like is the same interest in Sol on the kind of institutional side of things, or was this all just retail driven rally? But like I think at the end of the day, all it takes is like one company. Same with ETH. Like you just get like one person or one company, and all of a sudden, it is the best thing in the world. So
yeah, I think for Sol, I would love to see Solana Foundation do something because I've seen a lot of the speak heads for Solana. You know, guys like Mert, Tole, like all these big founders within the ecosystem, just still basically circle jerk the fact that but they raised 600 million in 12 minutes, but like then the guy tweets Jew mode and disappears. So like I don't know, man. like like if there's truly nothing more to Solana, I know there is. I'm being like sarcastic. If they cannot come with a better narrative than, hey, Pump Fund did a public raise, most important, most successful ICO, and like, dude, it's not like read the room, right? A little bit, read the
yeah,
fucking room.
yeah,
Pump Fund,
yeah.
a new all-time lows earlier today.
Mm.
Congratulations to everybody celebrating.
You were shorting that, right?
Yeah, but
Quite a
I
bit.
closed my shorts in like 50 cents range. So
Yeah,
classic.
it's interesting. It's you know,
But you would
um,
think it's the most popular coin of the cycle, right? Like we can agree there, even as being the boring Bitcoin traders.
yeah, I guess
Everybody on crypto Twitter has to be broke. Like price just go down. Like yet everybody claims to be buying. So I'm a bit like it does not.
I saw quite a lot of like people mentioning how amazing uh the long is now. So I immediately assumed it's probably not as amazing long as it might seem. But I wasn't really watching. I think uh am let me check the price. Yeah.
So let's maybe get something that we understand a little bit. When it comes to BTC, maybe ETH and Sol, what are some of the levels? What do you want to see? If you're looking for a long, or do you think we're seeing something you could call like a distribution on BTC?
Well, I don't know. Like I feel like if uh Bitcoin, like I said, I got long on Friday. I had quite a bit of expectations. This is going to just rally much higher. I got out from that long basically on Monday. Uh, I think if we start trading underneath that Friday low, basically losing that that kind of a daily wick or whatever, I think
Mm-hmm.
we can have a correction back towards like 110, which is basically that like a prior all-time high level, where
Mm-hmm.
we went from. Like it should make sense to buy that. Like it's like so hard to trade price discovery overall. Like it's just like and things with trends is that like one thing I learned is like I always rather kind of be trying to buy the dip in a trend, and that
Mm-hmm.
seem not that working out, rather than be like, oh, this is the top, and all I got is Twitter cloud from that basically. But more often than not, if you are trading against the trend, like you can get hurt quite a bit before you will get it right eventually. um so yeah, it's I don't know, like for because like I said, I am not insanely over the moon about ETH and Sol at the moment. I think Sol has been underperforming this whole time. One of the reasons why it rallied was mostly because of the correlations about the rally, and you can look at Solid, you can look at Sol BTC did a little better because basically Bitcoin did nothing, but Solid is pretty kind of a clear sign of state of Solana. Um, and yeah, like when we basically um, got that divergence between new open interest all-time highs and price just kind of being nowhere near that, I kind of doubled down on my short. I'm out of that now. I closed, I think around. I think you posted like closing around 170, 180. Uh, Around on Friday, this was the time when I was closing.
Yeah, close
My
to
short as well.
177.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I'm not really over the moon about the Sol. Maybe it's going to change with the ETF, but at the same time, like we can get the situation where similar to Sol CME futures launch, where like literally no one cares. So I'm not like too eager to just get into Sol. For ETH, we have this huge kind of sell wall situation. I don't know if you have kind of more info about that or what that's all about. Uh, but
People
yeah,
from
this is
2021 breaking even.
but yeah, this is one of the things that I'm like looking at. I know that for Bitcoin, for ETH, these things were kind of proven to me over the time that they actually have effect on price. So yeah, I was long. So yeah, I was long Bitcoin, no longer long. I actually was short ETH, but I'm no longer short ETH. As well, I kind of
That's a dangerous one.
yeah. I got short. I got short. I think at the beginning of the last week, but as we because I was long ETH as this kind of a uh sole ETH pair trade basically. I closed that one last weekend. Then I got short ETH, but yeah, it as it was kind of going back up, I just closed it on flat. But yeah, I'm not really bullish as long as all of that selling is basically present because it's just like very hard um, for price to go up. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of just you know uh, chilling at the moment. Obviously, if Bitcoin is going to lose that Friday low, that like 115, I think we're gonna see correction towards 110 probably, which I guess it's not the worst place to have some like limit orders and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm just observing mostly at the moment because at the same time, um, we had a lot of inflows, we had a lot of open interest coming in, like this is not like we are not early by any means.
What?
Yeah, like this is not the type of cycle when you know we are early and Bitcoin is going to go to like Bitcoin um has been going up for last year and a half, like
Three
or
years
even
now.
longer. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Since like 2022, basically after FTX, like this things was like very but went from 100 and like BTC is up almost 10x in the 3 years. Um and yeah, like I was like, I was actually pretty bullish since April when all of the tariff stuff happened, and like Bitcoin clearly didn't go down as much, and I like most of my trades from April were longs on BTC, and like I think I took like 3 or 4 of them, and every time I was like, yeah, like this is probably the last one, like this one is not going to work, like this is going to finally top or whatever, and like it keeps going up and up, but yeah, I'm at this point now where I'm like, yeah, but it's really extended, like this is not early part of the cycle, like everyone is buying, everyone is like super bullish about BTC, even there's been like a lot of open interest coming into the market, Um, yeah, I think stuff like corrections and things like that are pretty healthy. Uh, so so yeah,
Yeah, I think
it's
TradFi could have a bit of. I know you hate. I know for a fact you do not give a shit about seasonalities, but just August. There's a lot of stuff happening even this week. Tomorrow is, I believe, FOMC,
yeah, tomorrow is
GDP,
FMC.
FOMC, PC on Thursday and Friday, NFPs. Just like pretty heavy 3 days, and also OPEX, Vana, Charm, Omega,
Is
Ligma,
there
Enigma,
a
all of that
is
combined
there a
this week.
Yeah, you're right. There is like a down seasonality for S&P until end of September. Um, yeah, the thing is
I
with
know it's pointless, but hey.
stock market, yeah, it's just like tough, like people just buy stocks. It's
Yeah.
like no matter what's going to happen, like all this April, panic basically, it's just like got
But hey,
fully.
in better news, James Swain just got liquidated again.
Um,
Like got hit for like 200K liquidation.
that's a very interesting lore, definitely. Like I generally don't really care about CD people and stuff like that, but like this one is quite interesting.
I mean, this is
Um,
literally Alex Weiss on steroids.
yeah, it's funny. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like I said, like to be fair, my biggest positions now is I'm actually long dollar, and I have like long bond futures exposure. So I hope everything goes to zero, for sake of my bags. But I don't know. I feel like I feel like just we had very good performance in Bitcoin. Um, uh, the top now is going to be basically very different than what we saw in the past, and like overall Bitcoin changed a lot over these last couple of years. So yeah.
Damn, unfortunately, since we started streaming, it's really accelerating downwards. But at
It's
least I
over.
can, if we take a break from streaming, when we come back in a few months, I can be like, oh, did you read my Telegram room, Anon? Um, no, I would love to see a correction, but what love from angle of I would love to buy it. And
Yeah, I guess like the thing is, and once again I can be completely wrong on this, but it seems like Bitcoin is not going to go be like irrelevant. Like obviously no one knows how many years from now what the price is going to be and what's going to happen. But it seems like at least, like if you can look historically, being long BTC has been not the worst thing you could do. Um, with a lot of this kind of institutional interest as well, I think, the price, like you already can see the changes. Like you have way less of these like blow off tops and bottoms. Like price is not like insanely volatile. I think uh the implied volatility of Bitcoin is like in like 30s, which is like very low, like annualized 30% move basically. Um, so it's just like I guess it's definitely smarter to look for longs, but at the same time, um, I guess I just wouldn't buy at 120K and be like, yeah, I'm early.
so thoughts on Chill House?
Isn't it a launch coin now, or what has been the most kind of?
I don't know, man. Like I wanted to give the on-chain people benefit of the doubt of like, hey, they're not all completely broke yet, and I wanted to see how pump fund rates, and now I 100% can be sure that they're all broke. So
Yeah, I mean, Hyperliquid is still looking good. Uh, that's like I think one of the few coins which definitely holding up quite well. Uh, Fartcoin, I feel like Fartcoin, although it went up, it lost like with launch of Pump, it lost this kind of like, you know, on-chain coin basically. Yeah, if I'm going to be completely honest, I just wasn't paying that much attention to
Like
altcoins at all.
Murat coins have been much stronger than Flat
Oh,
coin.
yeah, that's been doing quite well, right? Yeah, it's still doing well.
So that thing is, you know, harder, much harder.
Murad was right this whole time. Stop trading and believe in something. Yeah,
Yeah, I really don't have much.
all it. Yeah, I
Don't
guess
have
me either.
much more. Like
Okay.
ETFs, treasury companies, things that crypto Twitter does not have access to, but keeps hating on. NFT. One thing that I want to mention, talking about corrections, like fucking NFTs apparently are making a comeback, which I mean, you know,
Yeah, I saw like CryptoPunks
being
doing well.
swept.
Yeah, but I mean that's like ETH strength, right?
I don't know. It made it all the way to Wintermute newsletter that NFTs are making a comeback, and the only thing I'm looking forward to is lending. When lending against micro strategies, Ponzi's. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Someone is asking about SBET in chat. You might have some good
I mean, not much.
take.
As bet, like they are going full sailor. They're gonna dilute the stock to oblivion, buy ETH with the proceeds. Um, I do think, unironically, they saved Ethereum. So if you're like underwater bag holder for years, you really should be thanking them. Because why? Because they launched, right, and then after instantly you had multiple copycats of SBET, namely Tom Lee with his BMR thingy, and they're basically now racing who's gonna buy more ETH, and the price action shows. I'm long
It's
ETH
so funny.
BTC, so
It's so funny to look at SBET like monthly chart and compare it to MicroStrategy monthly chart. How like both of them has been basically dead, and then MicroStrategy obviously since 2022, 21, had this like huge rally.
I do still think it's kind of retarded for people to try to trade these on open market, because you might wake up to a headline that and that's what happened to SBET a few days ago. They did like a $5 billion shelf offering, and like the chart SBET chart nuked, but ETH mooned, right? Logically.
Yeah,
So how do you I don't think you have much edge predicting these. Neither do I. I'm not claiming to sit here and like know what the fuck Joe Lubin is gonna do. But that's, I think, me understanding I don't have edge trading it is
yeah,
useful. And like, look, they want to buy ETH number gonna go up, and why would you hold SBET if they will you know keep selling it basically to oblivion?
okay. Um, so if that's it, you guys, if you don't have any other questions, I think we can slowly wrap things up. Let us know if you want to
Yeah,
know.
it's just been fucking boring. Yeah. Bottom is in.
Yeah, this and this is like and this is like never ending story with Bitcoin price action, and I'm going to keep repeating this, but like the way that Bitcoin is literally trading is like opposite basically of like it's interesting when you think about like correlation between like S&P and Bitcoin. They are both these kind of risk assets, like they tend to kind of go together, but like the way that they go is very different. Usually the stocks and like the way that, not usually, but like the way that stocks trade, basically you have these like every day is up, it's basically it's like a staircase up, elevator down, and like when S&P is going to have correction, it's just going to just plummet completely, and then VIX is going to spike and all of these things. But Bitcoin in general is just like doing nothing. It just goes sideways, goes like a little bit down and stuff like that. And when it rallies, it's just like these couple days when it's like really strong and it goes up super fast. So it's hard to And like it makes it hard to like, if especially if you're like swing trading and want to position for these things. Like it's just like most of my trading nowadays, since I kind of went full old person type of trading and I'm just swing trading, it's just like I do nothing, and like I was bullish when I was like buying in like 70 80k range, right? Like I was pretty bullish since like March on BTC, and I ended up getting the long that I wanted in like April, like beginning of April, basically. So like you're just like sitting on your hands, and then there is like one day when you need to kind of pay attention to and size into things and go long basically, or short or whatever you want to do. So yeah, from this like a day-to-day basis, there's like not that much to um, go through, and the price seems to be doing the same thing as it always does. No positions you are in. I am no, I'm not in any kind of trades now. I'm going to be fair. Like on a crypto side, I'm in bunch of TradFi stuff. Uh, but from crypto point of view, I'm no trades. I still think Bitcoin can like go up. Like I think as long as we are above this 114K, which is the Friday low, I think it's still looking pretty good, and it just might be slow, and eventually you will get that kind of catch up to the upside. Um, but like I said, like I've been really like buying in April, then I was buying in May, I was buying in June, and with all of these longs, like I feel like it's I'm just like getting closer and closer to that bigger correction. Um, and yeah, I really felt like when we made this 120K high, with and ETH and Sol went crazy as well. I feel like we might have a little bit of a bigger correction, or like at least some sort of correction. So the trade that I took on Friday, I kept it very tight in terms of like when I want to get out, and I just got out. So I'm just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. But I still can see BTC just going basically going higher from here.
It might be a little more complicated in the short term for Michael Saylor to get his buys in. The NAV premium is plummeted pretty hard, which is effectively the number one indicator for how much they're gonna buy. They do have earnings call in 2 days though. Maybe they will figure out some new Ponzi. They just recently launched the news thing. Have you seen it? The stretch
Yeah,
card.
yeah. They just launched like not only one, right? Like I think they launched like two.
No, it was stretch launch, and but they upsized it.
Yeah.
So they wanted to raise 500 mil. They upsized to 2.5 billion. It's a 10% coupon. And in the presentation, they drawn it as like a pyramid, a triangle.
Yeah, I saw that. That's fucking insane.
Um, yeah, I
Yeah.
I will just stating the obvious. Not gonna call it a Ponzi.
Yeah, it's funny. Um,
Average his average price is now like 72K.
yeah. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said at the beginning, the streams are sponsored by BONKbot. If you like, if you enjoy the streams, if you like, two European boomers talking about Bitcoin and shitting on altcoins mostly, uh, make sure to check out BONKbot. And we can get the streams keep coming. So, with that being said, we are going to catch you next.